He was one of the chosen 12. He walked with Jesus, talked with him, ate with him, witnessed miracles no eye had ever seen. But in the end, he sold the Son of God for the price of a slave. Why? Why would someone so close to Jesus choose to betray him? Was it greed? Was it prophecy? Or was it something deeper, something darker, hiding in plain sight? Today, we uncover the untold story of Judas Iscariot. A man shrouded in mystery, vilified through history, yet whose betrayal shaped the greatest story ever told. This is not just a story of betrayal. This is a story of love, trust, disappointment, destiny, and the price of a soul. Stay with us, because nothing is as simple as it seems. When you hear the name Judas, your mind probably flashes to one thing: betrayal. But Judas Iscariot didn't start out as a villain. He was chosen, handpicked by Jesus himself. Think about that. The Messiah, the Son of God, looked this man in the eye and said, "Follow me." And Judas followed. He left his life behind and became one of the 12 disciples. He preached, he healed, he cast out demons. He wasn't lurking in the shadows. He was front and center with the rest of them. So, who was this man before the kiss? Judas was likely the only disciple from Judea, while the others were Galileans. Some scholars believe he was educated, calculating, and intelligent. He was trusted enough to carry the money bag for the group, the treasurer. But something inside him was waiting to break. Judas, like many others, may have expected a different kind of Messiah, a conquering king, a political revolutionary who would overthrow Roman oppression. But Jesus didn't raise an army. He washed feet. He healed lepers. He spoke of turning the other cheek, of dying. Imagine the confusion, the tension. You follow a man you believe will change the world, and then he tells you he's going to die. Could this have been the first crack in Judas's faith? Not disbelief in Jesus' power, but disappointment in his mission. Disillusionment is a dangerous thing, especially when it hides behind a smile. One evening, a woman walked into a room with an alabaster jar filled with expensive perfume. She broke it open and poured it on Jesus. The fragrance filled the house. The disciples were shocked, especially Judas. He snapped, "Why this waste? This could have been sold for a year's wages and given to the poor." But Jesus responded, not to praise Judas, but to rebuke him. "Leave her alone. She has done a beautiful thing to me." That moment changed everything. The Gospel of Matthew says that immediately after, Judas went to the chief priests and asked them, "What will you give me if I deliver him to you?" 30 silver coins, the price of a common slave. What was going through his mind? Some believe it was pure greed. He saw a way to profit. Others think it was frustration, that maybe if he forced Jesus into a corner, Jesus would finally rise up and become the warrior Messiah. Maybe Judas didn't mean for Jesus to die. Maybe he just wanted to push him. And when the wheels started turning, when the Roman soldiers grabbed Jesus and the trial began, it was too late. Judas had unleashed something he couldn't stop. It was night, a garden outside Jerusalem. Jesus was praying, sweating drops of blood. And then Judas appeared, leading soldiers with torches and weapons. He walked up to Jesus and kissed him. "Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss?" The betrayal was complete, not with a sword, but with something meant for love. A kiss. The next morning, Judas realized what he had done. Jesus was condemned, beaten, on his way to crucifixion. Judas ran back to the temple, silver coins clutched in his hands. "I have sinned," he cried. "I have betrayed innocent blood." But the priest coldly replied, "What is that to us?" Judas threw the money into the temple and fled. And in utter despair, he took his own life. This is the question that haunts so many. If Judas had lived long enough to see Jesus crucified and risen, could he have been forgiven? Peter denied Jesus 3 times, and yet he was restored. Could Judas have been too? Jesus called Judas friend, even in the moment of betrayal. He washed Judas's feet the night before it happened. Was there still mercy, even for him? The betrayal was prophesied. Psalm 41 verse 9. "Even my close friend, whom I trusted, he who shared my bread, has lifted up his heel against me." Jesus had to be betrayed. But did Judas have to be the one? Was he just a puppet in a divine drama? Or a man with free will who made a tragic choice? The mystery is heavy. It forces us to look not just at Judas, but at ourselves. How often do we choose silver over truth? Comfort over conviction? Silence over loyalty? Judas's name is synonymous with betrayal. But maybe his story isn't just a warning. Maybe it's a mirror. Because every time we deny what we know is right, every time we sell out for something temporary, we walk the same path. And yet, there is still grace. The story of Judas teaches us that proximity to Jesus isn't enough. It's not about walking with him. It's about surrendering to him. Judas Iscariot was not a cartoon villain. He was a man with hopes, doubts, flaws, and a tragic ending. But his story is a part of the larger story of redemption. And maybe, just maybe, his story is meant to wake us up, to remind us that betrayal begins in the heart, long before it shows in our hands. Thank you for watching the untold story of why Judas betrayed Jesus. If this video made you think, reflect, or see things in a new light, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell us in the comments, what part of Judas's story surprised or intrigued you the most? Let's talk about it. Let's reflect. Let's learn. Because sometimes the darkest stories carry the brightest lessons.